Discretion is advised.
Happy whatever day. I just did this 2 seconds ago and I still don't even remember the day. Technically it's Friday, guys, but we're going to pretend like it's Thursday even though it's really Wednesday. We're going to pretend like it's Thanksgiving. You are listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 187. We are in patch 7.3.2. Tonight we're going to be talking about all the things going on in Azeroth, including raid opening next week, guys. Get hype. It does bring good tidings and maybe some tier nerfs if you're one of the unlucky people, which we'll talk about that later. And new legendaries to talk about, two pretty interesting ones, actually. And we do have more forum fuckery, so get hyped for that. And today we celebrate our Murica Thanksgiving because Murica. So we have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Belle, the Pwnecast Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Jimma Banks. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are Pwnecast.
Welcome back. Rem looks like he's having a hard time. Not sure if I should unmute them. Maybe? You alright?
Yes.
You okay, Rem?
Oh, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. How are you?
Good. I was just checking. You look like you were a little lost. Guys.
Hello.
Happy whatever day this is today.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're going to pretend it's Thursday. Yeah. It's really Wednesday. Guys, we're recording this a little early.
Tuesday.
We're recording this a little bit early because our new show recording day does fall on Thanksgiving. And as much as I love you all, I basically spend my whole day on my feet. And I'm not about do the podcast after I've been on my feet all day life. So, with that being said, and Rem is here at Casa de Belle. That's why he...
Yeah.
Oh, he cleaned off the bed.
Kinda.
And that's why the walls are yellow and not white.
Well, because there's no natural light in that room.
That's her smoking room.
Yeah, right. That's my brandy and smoking room for after dinners. I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me and my two wonderful co-hosts. Excuse me, I got a little choked up.
Yeah, something like that.
I got a little choked up there. I did bring the monk who deleted all of his BlizzCon memories. Why, Jimma
They're
Banks?
gone.
Why?
I didn't move them to my new phone. I sold, I had the Samsung 6 Edge back in the day, and I went through all my memories last night. I saw my Linkin Park and different cosplayers, right? Remember how embarrassing I was taking my pictures before my phone died? But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't save them or upload them, but we'll have new memories hopefully for new BlizzCons.
Well, maybe I'm really sad that you don't you have
Linkin
like Google
Park.
Photos where you save all that stuff?
Yeah, right?
So
I don't know.
I'm going to help you out after the show. There's this thing called Google Photos, and it
Right.
saves everything to your Google account. You back it up on your phone. I do it like once a week, and you never
Right.
have to worry about that ever. I have
Yeah.
all my
Oh.
pictures, and Google like puts them into folders by date too, so it's really nice. I'm
Can
going to
I
help
use
you
the
out.
Google Home with that?
I think so. I want your Google Home. I don't want to pay for it though, but I
I
want.
try to sell it and no one will buy it for the right price, so I might have to use it.
So this
I'll
week,
give you
Jim has
about
been
$3.50.
selling goods on his Facebook, and I had to ask, bruh, who you robbing? Because all of a sudden you have all this new electronic gear, and I don't know where you're getting it from because last time I checked, he's as broke as I am. So
Yeah, I'm a little worried.
where are you
BlizzCon.
getting this equipment from?
I just upgraded a random cell phone on my cell phone plan, and it was like an impulse buy because the phone was free and it came with a Google Home. So the phone that I sold, the Samsung Edge, was just like an old phone, and I just have old electronics to get rid of.
It's very interesting. I did also bring the priest who thinks he's Vin Diesel, mainly because he was speeding super fast and furious style to make it in time for the show, driving from his casa to Casa de Belle.
Yeah, mostly
Remedies.
because I was stuck behind every slow son of a gun on the freeway on the way out here. They weren't joking when they said everyone was going to be traveling this year. So there's that.
We went to the store yesterday. I've been to the store every day this week because I keep thinking I remembered everything for Thanksgiving, and then I remember one more thing that I forgot. And we went yesterday, and it took us like 15 minutes from this exit to the next exit where the store is because everybody was trying to leave out of town.
Yeah, that's the bad part about living like on a major highway. Yeah.
But it's great for me because get the fuck out of my state right now. I don't want traffic on the road during the holidays. So like, please bye, like go. Nobody goes to Arizona for the holidays though. You're the only one that goes to Arizona for the holidays. Everybody else is going to California. Yeah, they're trying to go to like all their other places. So, well, I am happy that you sped and risked a ticket to get here in time for the show.
No tickets, by the way. So yeah, that's the plus.
Don't you have a radar thingamajigger?
I did not use it because with the way they have radars nowadays, it's useless. So
Time out. You mean like radar where you hear the random cop calls on it, or?
No, not that's like the comms. I just have something where it picks up the radar.
Like if there's a radar gun, it beeps.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
The only problem is like it beeps for a lot of random reasons. If there's an emergency vehicle that has their things on, it beeps. Sometimes it throws false
sometimes
negatives.
the truckers as well because of their detectors and shit like that. Yeah.
It throws false negatives. There's an intro for me, but I'm going to let Jimma do that because it feels weird introing myself.
Jim. Right, but doesn't it feel good? Right? Hang on. And we also have the Warlock who can do show notes, have the house cleaned, and plan a monster Thanksgiving meal with enough time to upload the podcast on time for you, the listeners. Belle.
That was a lovely introduction. That was lovely.
Right.
I was doing a lot today. Thank God for ADD meds, guys, because I was on my A game today. Like
a lot of rooms to clean.
Work done. And so here's the thing. I'm a really clean person. Rem will tell you I have a little bit of a germ phobia. And with having children, I've had to just get used to shit. I have to get used to fingerprints being everywhere and stuff being like their clothes everywhere. And I've had to get used to that as much as it hurts my feelings. But my sister, she's my younger sister. She's coming for Thanksgiving, and I love her dearly. But her and I have this relationship, and I want to know if anybody at home, even though this isn't Warcraft related, I want to know if anybody at home has this relationship with a sibling where I love her dearly, and I want her to have a great life and a happy life. But her and I have this underlying competitive thing going. So, like, I want to make sure my house is in pristine condition when my sister shows up at the house with her kids. I want her to know, like, I have all this nice things for no other reason other than that's just one of those sisterly things because we'll nitpick each other's lives. That's just something we've always done. But, like, I'm never going to get caught out of pocket. So I was, like, cleaning cabinets and dusting things that I usually dust, like, once a month. But just clean the banisters, like, literally was just deep cleaning stuff because I have to be on my A game when it comes to
I've only seen that on TV.
You gotta one up each other
with my sibling.
And I try to not be that way because I love her, and she has a beautiful home that she owns. I don't own a home. I'm a renter. Like, she has a lot of really great things in her life, and I don't want her to not have those things. I just want to have better. So I want to know, the viewers at home or the listeners, if you have a relationship like that, it could be a sibling or a cousin. I know people are going to be like, wow, Belle, you're super petty. I'm really not because it's human nature, guys. There's somebody in everybody's life where there's some type of competition. Whether it's a friend or whatever, like there's just that competition. So yeah, I was on, and then my Thanksgiving's always on point because that's just something I'm really good at. But yeah, I was putting in work today to outdo the younger sister, just to let her know big sister still knows how to live a good life.
How to host a Thanksgiving party.
Yeah, pretty much. But I one up her anyway because my sister can't cook. I love her to death, but she can't cook. She's just
So do you ask her during dinner, like, how's your meal?
No, I'll know if it's good because everybody's quiet. If nobody's talking, then that means it's a good meal. Like, if a bunch of people are jabbering, that means they're not enjoying the food. So, well, like, after, we'll eat silently for a few, and then the conversation starts going in really super weird directions. But that's enough of our weird Thanksgiving, which is why Rem is here to spend the weekend with his second family.
I'm just here to eat the food and play games.
Does your mom do it up still, Rem?
What?
Like, does she cook?
Oh, no. No, she does banana pudding, and then we go to the family.
Oh,
usually.
like the older relatives?
Yeah. the extended family that
Nobody
I prefer
wants to
to
do that.
keep extended. Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that. Like, if I didn't host Thanksgiving, I would never go anywhere. I don't go anywhere for Christmas. I don't go anywhere for Easter. If you want to be around me, you're going to have to come to my neck of the woods because I am not doing all that, dealing with my kids being screaming and
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, my kids are great. And
Well,
they're
it's
great in
easier because
public,
my little brothers are older now, so.
right. Once my kids are older, I'll probably never want to go anywhere with them because at least now they fear me, right? Because
Yeah.
they're smaller than me. Once the boys are
I
bigger
know
than
once they
me,
can start standing up to you, then you're kind
yeah,
of in
I'm
trouble.
pretty much toast. Don't have kids, Jimma. Just wait as long as you possibly can.
I am.
I mean, you're a virgin, so we don't really have to worry about
No,
that
I'm
immediately.
not.
But
No one believes that.
this episode is going to be a little off kilter because it's holiday celebration. We're probably going to talk about a lot of random stuff, but real talk, I've been convincing everybody around Jimma that he is a virgin silently, like low key.
Oh,
He does
what?
not know that I've been doing that. But I've been telling everybody that he's a virgin, which makes me laugh. So
Why? There's no point in that.
I did it the whole week at BlizzCon. I would tell people
Shut
that I
up.
did.
You're so
I
stupid.
know. I'm-
Hilarious for this moment. At least this is a
I'm a
surprising
terrible
podcast.
person, but like everybody thinks that you're a virgin and it's totally my fault.
You're
We're going to
so
need
dumb.
pictures in order for you to prove yourself.
You're a liar. She's saying this for the show.
No,
just
I
got-
promise. Rem, have I not been telling people that he's a virgin? No shit.
You're
For the
so-
record, for like a year, my husband thought you were a virgin because I told him you were, which is kind of funny.
You're so dumb. Hilarious.
Sometimes, guys, I'm not nice. Okay, let's get into the topic at hand. For the reset, which is going to be the 28th, the Pet Battle bonus event is going to be up, and that's going on till December 5th. Then we have one of my favorite PvP brawls that's going on also the 28th until December 5th, Arathi Blizzard. Flashback
Favorite
to
one.
when Belle couldn't find Lumbermill.
Where's Lumberyard? Where's Lumbermill?
That was so embarrassing, guys, as a person who, like, knows that map. Yeah, I couldn't find it. And because Black Friday is, like, this big, huge thing in America, I know you guys have, like, empty box day or open box day or...
You're so dumb. She's gonna joke with it. We actually started trying to adopt Black Friday. Like
What's it
last year was
called?
one of the first
Bring the
Boxing
box?
Day, which was
Oh,
in
Boxing
December.
Day.
Oh, yeah, Box Day.
It's after Christmas. But we've been adopting Black Friday, though.
Yeah, I remember when he first mentioned Boxing Day, I was like, so you watch boxing all
That's
day?
what I
or
thought,
what?
too. I was like, oh, they're totally repping for the boxers. Like, that's cool. I don't get out very often, and I don't know what goes on in other countries. For an entire portion of my life, I thought Australia was located by England. So,
No, it's in Europe, you know?
yeah, I had no
right next to
idea. But
Austria.
keep in mind, I'm really good at WoW geography, really bad at real-life geography. Like, I have no clue what's going on in other places that's not America, and that's kind of embarrassing for me to admit, but it is what it is. So the Black Friday, it's basically going on across all Blizzard games. Overwatch is like $20. Everything is like half off. Legion's half off. Now's a really good time to get a family member into World of Warcraft because purchasing the game is $10, which gets you up until Warlords of Draenor, and then you purchase Legion at half off. Now, what most people don't know is when you purchase World of Warcraft, you get a free 30 days of game time. So get somebody interested. Do a recruit a friend. There's like...
And refer Jimma. for
There's
those
like
Indian
6 pets and 6 mounts and some other stuff. Like bring people to the game that we love and keep it relevant and take advantage of the holiday sale, which is going on until November 27th. The other side of that is the gear store has sales out the wazoo. I have not even touched the gear store because I'm terrified.
Yeah, no, I can't. But no, so I noticed a workaround on one of the forums on one of the sites. So what you can also do is, because when you purchase the game and you add it, like if you put it to your same account, boosts are account wide. So you could effectively get a $60 boost for only $25.
That sounds illegal.
Because you buy the game, you have the boost, and you can put it on any account.
And you can link it to your current account, right?
Nope.
That doesn't make sense because it would be
Like
okay.
I have 3 licenses on my account. An old one from like Wrath, and then another old one that I use for refer a friend, and then the one I'm using right now. And if I were to purchase Legion on one of those, I could bring that boost onto my main license on my
I
account.
have an account in like Taiwan because my account was hacked a couple years ago. I took my authenticator off for legit like 4 days, and they
So they
deleted.
gave you-
That was when they deleted the Horde Guild, and like luckily my guildies caught it. It was like 3 a.m. They called my husband to wake me up out of a dead sleep. Blizzard locked it down really quick, but they created another account in like Taiwan, and I don't know what they were doing in Taiwan, but I left it there just because it felt like it was fond memories of good times. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's just there. Like there's just a Korean, or it's Korean or Taiwan. I don't know if those are the same. Sorry if I offended. I don't know.
You do now.
It's the KR server, yeah? Or KR realm?
I think so. I have to look. I think so.
That's Korean.
But every time I log in and look, it weirds me out because that's there.
So much stuff on sale.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff, guys.
Sale.
If you have spouses, or if you are trying to hint to your spouse what to get you, link them the good old gear store and go ham. A lot of that stuff, there's like stuff's really cheap. A lot of it's like 30.
Alliance jackets are half off. And
Yeah,
the dresses
30,
are
40,
half
and
off.
50% off. So take advantage of that kind of stuff. I'm actually going to scope out what's on there for the husband Overwatch. And
Yeah,
whatever.
aren't you glad you didn't buy anything at BlizzCon?
Yeah, that's
Big?
why I don't spend money at BlizzCon, in truth. That's
Like the
exactly
hats.
why I don't. Yeah. Oh, like, yeah, you get the expensive hat. Hey, I like that hat there. Jim?
You like that?
Oh yeah, where'd you get that hat?
Probably
asshole?
the same place I got this mug.
Yeah. At Con Before the Storm.
At Con Before the Storm, courtesy of Seraphis. We had tons of
Right.
giveaway stuff, and I was like, yo, can I hook my boys up with some stuff?
I was watching the box of cards you gave away. I was like, I want that. I wish I could. Like when I heard the question,
We gave
I'm
away
like,
2, didn't we? I feel like we gave away 2.
you probably did. I might have missed that giveaway, but like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to answer this question. And whatever you ask, I'm like, I have no idea. So
We gave away the World of Warcraft trading cards set, and then we also gave away Diablo trading cards set. Older ones,
that
too. I think
Warcraft
those were
one.
actually donated by Blizzard to Come Before the Storm, which is super nice of them. So make sure you get your Black Friday deals. It is going on till the 27th, so hopefully you guys can get another paycheck in there. I get paid twice a month, so it's not really fun for me.
Yeah. No.
I should always know in advance because the sale's always around the same time. And the shit part is I kind of use a lot of the Christmas money for BlizzCon. So then I'm like super strapped budget-wise until after. Once January hits, like it's smooth sailing until like May.
Mhm.
And then everything just goes to shit.
I forget what they call it when you take money from work, the bonds or whatever.
Embezzlement.
That's what you're doing is taking out the money.
It's called prison time, Jimma.
It's called embezzling.
Yeah, it's essentially called a felony and prison time.
Don't want that.
Pilgrim's Bounty is going on right now. Take advantage. Use the food buff that you get and the WoW token to get 23% reputation. So you get 13% from the token, 10% from the spirit of sharing. So what you have to do is you go to any of the major cities, so Orgrimmar, Stormwind, wherever, find the Bountiful Table. At the Bountiful Table, you'll have to hop. I'm sure most of you have done it, but just in case you're new and you haven't, you have to hop from seat to seat, and you have to eat 5 of each of the foods at that table. Once you've eaten 5 of each, so you have to eat 5 of the pie, 5 of the stuffing, 5 of the cranberry sauce. Once you do that, all those little stackable things that you see on your buff bar, that will turn into 1 buff, which is going to be your 10% reputation buff. So what happens there, you use that with your anniversary token, and you go and farm emissaries with that rep that you need. Really good for Augustian Reach, really good for Army of the Light, really good for Legion Fall rep if you're still kind of struggling there, or even for your Nightfall and stuff if you're working on that. The only bad part here is if you die, the buff's gone. You're going to have to go back and get it. So just be aware. I never die on Belle, and I died because I overpulled in Suramar. I don't ever die when I'm doing World Quest, but I overpulled in Suramar, and I thought that there was people in the group with me because I created a group for this. It's like not necessarily a Wardens, but it was a Gold Dragon quest where you had to do a bunch of things, but I super overpulled smack in the middle of Suramar City, and I had the good sense to soulstone myself, but still, it was kind of sad.
Shame.
So once you have that, you can also, for killing things, so if you kill things that gain reputation for what you're trying to rep grind, and this goes for anything you guys are rep grinding, it doesn't even have to be current content, whatever you're trying to do, but if you're doing something that requires you killing also to get additional rep, make sure you have your battle standard of coordination out, because that gives you an additional 15 reputation.
I always
for
forget
kills.
about that. It's singing my
That's
face.
really super good if you're still doing Emperor Poo Pants. What's his name?
Shao Hao.
Xiao Hao in Time the Sile. That's really good for that too. So take advantage of this while it's there. Go get your reputation. I know a lot of you are probably like me and you hate rep grinding. this is a good way to just kind of put yourself a little bit ahead. Rem, did you have something to add? I felt like you had something to add there.
Are you sure?
Positive. Oh, actually, yeah, make sure you do all this stuff in Pilgrim's Bounty so that you can be like Shuto and turn everyone into turkeys.
He does it year round.
I know, but you get it from this.
Right, but I'm saying, like, he farms that shit so much year round, 24 hours a day. Every time I'm just chilling in Dalaran, I come back to the computer after going to the bathroom and I'm a turkey.
I can tell when he's running around Dalaran.
And then he'll just disappear, so he won't necessarily be in that same area, or maybe he is and I don't pay attention, and I'm like, I don't catch on that I'm a turkey right away. Sometimes it's a little bit of a delayed reaction. I'm just like, seriously? Okay. But it's one of his fun things, and it's how I always know it's him, because nobody else randomly turns me into a turkey.
Yeah, I'll turn you into a Murloc, so I have like 20 of those wands.
That must be who turned me into a turkey in the raid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if
Most definitely.
If Hero was involved in that raid, you are the reason he's the reason you're a turkey. So, guys, let's talk about a sore subject.
Double, double.
Let's talk about a sore subject to some. So, November 21st, they had a round of hotfixes go out, and this affects the tier... Here's the thing, though. It affects tier 21, which is the Antorus raid. Some people got nerfed, and some people got buffed when it comes to class and spec. Like, example, so for Warlock... for the Grim Inquisitor's Regalia, the 2-piece bonus increases critical strike chance of Incinerate by 40% was 20. Like, some classes got a little bit of a buff and some got a nerf. Make sure that you go check that out, because every single class was affected, but not necessarily all specs. Some were nerfed, some were buffed.
Some were not mentioned.
And a lot of people were really upset on the forums. When I was doing stuff on the forums, as I typically do every week, I noticed that a lot of people are very irritated. Here's the thing, guys. Tier is not going to matter after Antorus anyway. So all the hard work you're doing, it's not really going to matter. I guess it's better that they prepare us a little bit now for it meaning less. Maybe so that it's not such a culture shock. I'm actually not sure why they did the round of hotfixes for that specific instance, but... We're going to make it, guys. It's going to be okay. If you are one of the people that got nerfed, just make sure you go check it out. There was a post about it that was done on the 21st, so, you know. Did you get nerfed, Rem?
No.
He got extra critical chance on Mind Flay.
Yeah, it's like 1% per Void Form stack, but I mean, it's not really a nerf or a buff. Either way, I'm going to be sticking with the Priest, so I'm good.
You're not freaking out?
What about you, Jim? Did you get? Is there anything bad happening?
Well,
I said it was a cucumber.
Right. I said I wasn't mentioned, but then I looked and there's no healers mentioned, so I wanted to say something, but I'm like, is that a dumb question? Like, because I don't play Windwalker enough. Like for Windwalker, there's the 4-piece and the 2-piece were affected.
There are no dumb questions, only dumb people.
Well, but it looks like it looks like everything was better for the monk. None of those look like nerfs for me for Windwalker or Brewmaster.
The 4-piece bonus is now 2-piece and still has 10% chance to generate 1 chi, and then the 4-piece bonus. The 2-piece is now... Oh, they swapped them. The 4-piece...
I think only a couple got nerfed. A lot of this looks like it's not terrible.
I guess the Windwalker is interesting, where the 4-piece is the 2-piece now, and the 2-piece is the 4-piece, and the number slightly changed. But
I feel like it was hunters that were mad. Let me look.
During Antorus, all BM hunters need to just re-roll to survival or marksman up until BFA.
Nothing. I mean, this kind of stuff, I don't really know what was nerfed per se.
The problem is that BM Hunters parse really low already, and the tier sets aren't amazing, and they nerfed it even more. So they did.
It says the 4-piece bonus now reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Wild by 1.5 seconds, was 2.0 seconds. How is that a nerf?
I don't know. That's what Softy was complaining about. I don't know if that is what Softy was complaining about, but...
The set is not good, is what...
Well, I'm saying, yeah, like, I'm sure the set wasn't good already, but this is not a nerf. There wasn't... I think what I'm saying is there was a lot of people that were complaining, and some of these don't seem like nerfs to me, unless I don't know the definition of what a nerf is. Might have to Google that. While we can Google for free, hashtag stop the fucking repeal on net neutrality. We're going to talk about that later because it is important and it does matter to gamers. And it's part of our forum fuckery because I pulled a forum post about that. So, yeah, if you're one of the classes, I apologize, but yeah, that is what happened. And then a random Siege of Orgrimmar. Paragons of the Calaxian Siege Crafter. Blackfuse are much better hosts and no longer lock their doors if you leave the raid early. I thought that was kind of cute. Nothing else really major. Priests are getting some work too. I seen on one of the community managers posted that priests are getting a rework. Not a rework, but they're getting something's being fixed. It's for the better. No priest complained about it. They were all happy about it. I'm not sure.
What?
Yeah, I guess if I was a better show note grabber, I would have. I know it was just like a random fleeting moment that I seen it. I'm sure Rem will find it. Now with that, talking about Antorus, the raid, which has 11 bosses, by the way, starts the 28th for normal and heroic difficulties. For December 5th, Mythic difficulty and Raid Finder Wing 1, which is going to be Light's Breach, is open. Then December 19th, Wing 2, January 2nd, Wing 3, January 16th, Wing 4. Did I say ring?
No, the one of the wing names is funny.
Which one?
Forbidden Descent. You're so immature. I laughed when I typed it in for the notes, so I can't really talk. Now, with the raid opening, something we've all been looking forward to is being able to upgrade the legendary. So hopefully you haven't gotten a legendary between now and then, because then you're going to have to go through the process of upgrading it. So don't. But once the 28th hits, you'll be able to upgrade your existing legendaries to item level 1000 with the Awoken Titan Essence. This is going to work the same exact way as all the other... I think we've done this 2 other times, right? We went from 910 to 940 and then 940 to 970, where you basically collect the essences. You'll collect them the same way, and then you can upgrade. Obviously, you'll need to repeat this. It's a repeatable quest. You repeat it for any of the legendaries that you have, which I have quite a few on Belle, so I guess that's going to be a lot of work. Pro tip, save your emissaries 2 days before reset. So whether you're Americas or you're EU and you have different reset day, whatever the case may be, save your emissaries 2 days out. That way you can complete those emissaries after the 28th. You pick up your quest to go complete those emissaries because you get the essences for doing your emissaries. You get additional ones. So I would say 2 days out. Don't do your emissaries. Just wait for whatever day your reset day is. If you're America, then it's 28th.
I'm a week ahead on that.
And then also make sure you pick up the quest before you go do your emissaries and do your dungeon runs and do all those kinds of things, because you do get them from dungeon runs. So make sure you pick up the quest first. Take advantage. Plan ahead. Just say, oh, I don't want to do these 2 emissaries because it's 2 days to reset day, whatever. That way you can take full advantage of that. Now, I had mentioned previously about one legendary. I didn't know about the second. Well, I did know about the second, but it didn't quite hit me what the second legendary was. So let's talk about the first one, which is the Insignia of the Grand Army. Now, this is one that you get after you complete a quest line, which is the Death of a Titan. I don't know if it's a couple quests. I don't know if you get this after you defeat Argus the Unmaker, which is the final boss. I'm not really sure, and I don't really know that Wowhead had a lot of information about that either. But you get the Death of a Titan quest. It might be a mini-series, whatever. As a reward, you get that Insignia of the Grand Army. Now, what the Insignia of the Grand Army is, basically it affects all your Tier 2 for your Netherlight Crucible by 50%. So it increases whatever effects you have for Tier 2 by 50%.
That's crazy.
That's nothing to sneeze at, and it might be interesting. If you have one killer legendary, but you have one second legendary that doesn't really have a good utility, or maybe the utility isn't worth more than the 50% for the Tier 2 effects. Like for me, a lot of my Tier 2 stuff on my Crucible's haste related, which Destruction needs haste apparently because Blizzard made haste a thing this expansion, where previously it wasn't haste, it was mastery. This could be something useful in your toolkit, even if it's on certain bosses, whatever the case may be. I know it's not going to be in Raid Finder. I'm assuming it's going to be normal. I think it'd be a shit thing if they made it only Mythic. But I know it's not going to be Raid Finder because...
I thought the new legendary from Argus and Maker was going to be separate from our set of legendaries.
That'll be
Did
the
they change
second
that?
one that I'm about to talk about. It was never going to be. That's always been part of the legendary cap, is that insignia of the Grand Army. However, the second legendary that we are going to talk about is Amenthol's Vision. This drops from Argus the Unmaker. This is not a reward from a quest. It drops from Argus the Unmaker on normal, heroic, and mythic, not available for Raid Finder. Basically, it's a trinket, and they talked about it being a direct drop. Personal loot. I think it's personal loot only. I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure it's personal loot only. I mean, that would only make sense. I don't think you could master loot a legendary. It provides a secondary stat with an effect that procs speed, avoidance, and leech. It does not count towards your limit of 2 legendaries equipped. Here is why. Amenthol's whatever is not considered a Legion legendary. But it does count as one of the Titan trinkets. So you cannot equip, for example, Amenthol's Vision and Khaz'goroth's Courage at the same time. Because we talked about those Titan trinkets before, which I think next episode I might actually break down those Titan trinkets we discussed previously. And I had queried to Rem because it unlocks Pantheon power to be used in the raid when you get these trinkets. So it's one of those things where it's like super sought after. Everybody's going to be going for these trinkets during raid. Nobody's going to be paying attention to the fact that their tier set got nerfed because they're going to be focused on these trinkets. So while Amenthol's Vision does not count towards your legendary cap, so it is in fact a third equipped legendary, it's the only one allowed. And, I mean, the stats would be super nice. It's weird to me. I don't know why Blizzard decided to do that because I guess they're going for the last hurrah, right? They decided the legendary system wasn't moving on in the next expansion, so fuck it. Let's just give them all the legendaries in the world because we have nothing better to do, which is fine. I'm not going to complain about that.
Well, the biggest thing about that trinket is it's like a 2.0 Arcana crystal, and so it's just all around good. So
and with the power of the Pantheon for all of these new trinkets that are being introduced, so you can't have 2 of these Pantheon trinkets for Antorus equipped. You can only have 1. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Next show, I'll go over these trinkets and what they offer in regards to the Pantheon power, because I think that that's pretty interesting. I know that we talked about it previously, but I didn't know a whole lot about it because it was just fresh data mine stuff. We didn't know a whole lot about it. And I didn't go into PTR and do proper testing because I'm a scrub, so I feel like I missed an opportunity there for you guys.
No, we talked about it. I mean, you don't have to go into PTR every PTR.
I should, because it's what makes me a better human. I'm trying to be a better human. Now, let's swap to something that Icy Veins, and it probably just wasn't just Icy Veins, but I saw it on Icy Veins. There's a series of Reddit posts. Delaran Well hosts Super Hole-in-One. Now, if you're wondering what the Super Hole-in-One is, there's a well, right? There's a well just randomly chilling there. We don't really know what the fuck the well is for. I've asked what the well is for. What does it do? Where do we go? When you
in the well?
When you jump in it, it like takes you to the loading screen and you're right back in Delaran. Some people said it sent them to Azuna. I don't really know. I didn't experience that, but there's this well. So apparently what people have been doing to pass the time is they've been trying to go from various vantage points around Dalaran and do a hole-in-one, which is basically jump and, slow fall, glide, what the fuck ever, into the hole-in-one. Like, not jump in. They're going all the way from a really high up to make a hole-in-one. I have 2 videos for you. I have this first one, which you can see the vantage point there, where he just jumped off. I'm pretty sure this might be the druid. I don't remember.
The boom chicken?
I don't know. So as you see, he just jumps off. Oh yeah, it puts him in the underbelly.
And I guess those are the sewers.
Yeah, and it just, like, that's what it does. Now the second one is I'm really impressed by this one. So he was not even in Dalaran. He was outside on a mount, and
right.
What's that thing that we used to use on Timeless Isle? That thing you picked up that shot you like a...
I don't remember. I don't have
like
it.
a falling meteor or
yeah,
something.
he put a freaking hole right in one. Can you guys believe that? Guys, I'm impressed. I am freaking impressed. if you want to, there's several videos of different classes that we're doing it and the story behind it. If you want to check that out, make sure you go to Icy Veins for the link to the original Reddit post where all those images are. Those images are not mine. They're owned by whoever put them on Reddit, so no copyright infringement. Please don't send your legal team after me, Reddit posters. I just wanted to highlight your fun in the community.
Reddit's after the copyright.
I thought that was kind of interesting. I really wanted to be about that life.
It brought joy to my evening. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And I want to tell you guys, I'm going to do forum fuckery for my segment, mostly because I didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to PvP this week, mainly because I'm a scrub. But I did do some. I just didn't do as much as I wanted. Next week will be the good stuff because it's a Wrathy Blizzard, which is one of my favorites. But, yeah, guys, I've seen some stuff on the forums, which we'll talk about in my segment, but I've been seeing a lot of PvP conversation, and I've been seeing a lot of guild conversation. The PvP conversation, I've been seeing a lot of people asking for PvP gear back the way that it used to be, where it mattered, where it mattered if you didn't have one piece out of your however many. And I saw a lot of very passionate PvPers make their plea for that, and I really, really appreciate and want to put to you guys, if you guys are PvPers, I need you to take to the forums, help drive the direction. Ian's already stated several times that it's going to be a great expansion for PvP. It scares me. It really, truly scares me because I was excited for Legion PvP and I was let down. So take it to the forums and help drive this discussion with PvP further, because as they're developing it, now's the time to kind of put bugs in their ears. And I saw several other people talking about guild halls and how they're getting frustrated that there's no real benefit to being in a guild when it's tough for recruitment, when people don't think they need a guild. Then other people were being assholes on the forums and saying, there shouldn't be benefits in guilds. I shouldn't have to be forced to join a guild for a benefit. Well, that's kind of what you do. Like, that's part of it. If you want certain things like the guild bank and, you know, whatever, then if you want guild repairs, like, you should join a guild, and there should be benefits for it. There's benefits for everything else in the world. Why isn't there benefits for it? There's benefits for Group Finder. You get whatever, your very first run in Group Finder, you get your chest and whatever bullshit. I don't really do random runs anymore, but there should be a benefit in it. But I've seen a lot of good conversation on the forums in general about all the different types of gameplay. I've seen mythic conversation. I have seen so many really good posts. I encourage you guys to browse the forums and comment, banter back and forth. Let these community managers that are reading this see, you know, players are having for these different types of topics. But there's some really good stuff on the forums now. It's not all great, guys. Not all of them are wonderful, but there's a lot of good discussion about topics for the future expansion and what they would like to see fixed or added or changed or, you know, whatever. And I think a lot of people are of the impression that Blizzard doesn't listen. Here's the thing. I've never been one to kiss Blizzard's ass or say anything because I'm trying, you know, whatever. I've always been really honest, and I feel like those of you that know or have listened for a length of time know that I don't pull any punches when it comes to the way that I feel about this game. If Blizzard screws up, I'm going to tell you Blizzard screwed up. I'm not going to, you know, sugarcoat it or anything like that because I feel like I'm being disingenuous if I do that. However, I do have to tell you that I know for a fact that they read the forums. I know that they read the forums, and I know that they read all of them. It might not be every day, all day, but I know that they read the forums. I also know that there's people whose job it is to read the forums and report back to these different departments that are in charge of these things to give the player feedback so that they can have a balance. Just because people have posted the same thing on the forums for the last year and Blizzard doesn't listen, it doesn't mean that they didn't read it or that they didn't pay attention or that they even made a choice to not listen. It just means it didn't work for them right now with what they're doing. And I think that that's okay. They're not entitled to listen to everybody's opinion. They have to drive it for billions of people, and it's really difficult to get a tough balance there. Blizzard has a shit job, guys. Like, they have a shit job. They put in a lot of work, and sometimes they screw it up, and sometimes they don't. But no matter what, there's always angry people. It's tough. I'm a mother of 5, and I know what it's like. You can never please all of your children. Two of mine are pissed off at me at least once a day. Like, you cannot please all of your children. It's the same way with us. There's no way that Blizzard's ever going to make everybody happy at once. So I am encouraging the use of the forums. even if you're not active in World of Warcraft, if maybe you still listen because you love us and you can't get enough of us and you want to be with us every day, but you're not necessarily subbed, go to the forums and help drive the conversation into what we want to see for the game. Because if nobody's doing logical talk, and when I say logical talk, if you're on the forums screaming like a fucking retard, nobody's going to listen to you. They're going to lock that forum down. It's going to turn into just some of the stuff that we see where it completely turns away from the subject. You really have to go there with logic and have a solid banter about what it is you're trying to convey.
Yeah, kind of like forum fuckery. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's good. Like you said, forum fuckery. I thought of like just all the crazy weird stuff, but obviously encouraging people to give good feedback. Like you said, even if people don't play anymore, they could say why they don't play anymore, and it might actually be relevant.
Yeah. And there's been quite a few of those posts where people have said, I haven't played since Miss Pandaria or since Warlords of Draenor. There's a girl on there who posted, I think she was a female. I'm assuming the gender here, but the way that she worded it, I'm pretty sure it was a female. But she talked about how she leveled and then got to Warlords of Draenor. It was awful. She's like, everybody hates this expansion. Why are you making me level through this crap? I leveled in Warlords of Draenor. It takes me like 45 minutes because you have those potions. So it doesn't bother me. But other people, it affects them. And it
The thing about Warlords, though, the leveling experience was amazing.
Well, then there's the other side of it where somebody was on the forum saying that Legion leveling was a joke and 1 to 6 years one-shotting everything with heirlooms. Like, it's boring. It's too easy. Well, here's the thing. I think if you're leveling, you don't really want it to be super hard. And I feel like that this is one of those guys that's like, bring back classic, bring back classic. Like, I feel like it's one of those guys. Sometimes I don't want the game to be hard. If I'm leveling a ton of alts, sometimes I don't want a challenge, right? I want to get in, get out, do what I need to do, max out, then give me the challenge. I have to do my class mounts. Like, I have to do all these things. Sometimes I don't want it. But that's the thing. Everybody's different. That's what sucks is, like, everybody's different. They can't really please everyone. New people coming to the game, they don't necessarily, if they're brand new, they don't know about heirlooms, right? Most brand new players are not aware unless they have a friend. They've got a friend, and the friend's usually like, oh, you need these. Most brand new players that don't know the inside scoop are having a difficult time because they don't have those heirlooms. To my person who posted that on the forums, if you don't want it to be too easy, why the fuck do you have all your heirlooms fully upgraded and are wearing them?
Because it's there.
Why not do it old school then? Project 60, that's what they're doing. Why not do it old school? If you feel like it's too easy, I agree with you if you think it's too easy. You have the power to change it. So anyway, I got onto this tangent about the forums, but browsing the forums is one of my favorite things, and I haven't been doing that for quite some time. The forum fuckery has got me back into not just browsing the most recent ones, like I was deep diving into some of the community discussion, especially in regards to the expansion, because I wanted to know how the players feel about the information that we were given for the expansion. I feel like what happens in podcasting, we get so caught up in the day-to-day, the week-to-week, that sometimes the things that we used to do, we often forget about. And browsing the forums and knowing what the players are having hardships with and discussing that and talking about it is something that we used to do, and I kind of quit doing that for my own, no specific reason. So that's part of one of the things that I'll be making sure that I do is browsing the forums and bringing up issues that people are having issues with and giving you ways to make it better or ways to help it, because that's what I used to do. And that was actually what Bell's Bites was about originally, was helping people, seeing a need and filling it. So I'm going to get back to that, and I apologize because I feel like I've been super scrubby. But we're one day at a time. We're going to make it, more whatever, good for you guys, really. I want to bring back the heavy discussion and the back and forth in the way that we used to be really in-depth analyzing things. I miss that aspect and element of the show. I feel like it's been really super rushed and hurried because of day-to-day stuff. So that's one thing that's on my plate, is bringing back that in-depth discussion. How often do you two browse the forums? I know, Jimma, you're not really a forum guy.
Not really, like never. When you said we or I'm like, I've never, what am I going to do in a forum? No, I'm not against like what you're saying.
I think you would be surprised from a pet battles perspective. I think I think you would be surprised at the things that you saw in the forums.
Correct, actually, and I guess I don't know if you'd consider Wowhead comments a forum. Actually,
it's the same.
My fault. So hang on, I've done forums actually on Wowhead and WarcraftPets.com. So that's not true. I don't look on a regular basis, but yeah, I've learned strategies for pet battles and stuff. A lot of my videos weren't necessarily my strategies, right? So like I've got some good strategies, but I definitely looked up and was helped by the community because it was already figured out and you just couldn't do something better than what was already done. So absolutely, actually.
Can't fix what isn't broken, really. You just have to...
Well, that, and I'm not going to, like, I would show some of the other ways that I could show you how to power level these pets or beat a trainer, but I'm going to show you the best way, whether it's my idea or not in most cases.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Rem, I know
Rem's like me. I know he forums, like, I don't know if he does it as much as I do, but...
every other couple of days I'll go on the Warcraft forums, the MMO Champion forums, all the forums, so... I
tend to stay away from the Wowhead and the MMO Champion forums for no other reason other than I don't really know
reasons. Data mining.
No, honestly I think a lot of it is it's Blizzard forums, so it just makes sense to me.
Yeah,
like, it's Blizzard. I don't.
It's more true to the company that made the game. And I look at it that way.
I don't know necessarily that. I don't know. I don't mind Wowhead as much as I used to, mostly because I have the upgraded version of Wowhead that I didn't have to pay for. So the ads don't bother me anymore because there isn't any. But I have to use it for method stuff, which is the reason I have the upgraded key. I have to use it for tooltips and for all kinds of shit. So I like the Blizzard forums because it's by Blizzard. It's Blizzard community managers. It's the game that I play. I think the comments, I do learn a lot from the comments on Wowhead. I don't ever learn anything from Wowhead. I always learn it from the comments. And I always tell people, like when my husband's struggling on a quest, babe, Google it, go to Wowhead and read the comments. People will tell you exactly what you need to know, coordinates, what you're missing. You know,
well, that's always came up when I Googled the strategy. It would usually be a Wowhead link. But if Rem, if I said something dumb, I was like, it seems more authentic. Rem was like, okay, there's just way better forums. Are we missing?
I agree. I think it is more authentic.
Well, I don't know.
You have the same type of people on either one of the forums.
Yeah, fair.
But you have the community managers that banter back and forth.
Yes, yeah, but I mean, you have community guides that are off the clock on other forums as well.
I don't trust any of that. I really don't trust any of that.
Rem's offended. He made me feel a certain type of way. That's why I re-brought it up. I'm like...
There's sometimes when I don't know, like I feel like Rem's making fun of me in his head. Because, like, his face or his snort or his laugh or, like, something that just, like, the way he looks, I feel like internally he's totally making fun of me and it makes me super self-conscious and I'm just...
Every day.
So then that's why I'm just mean to him back because my self-defense mechanism when I feel self-conscious is just to be a dick.
Hey, Ike, knock it off.
If I'm ever a dick, it's not because I'm mean in real life, it's because that's my self-defense mechanism. Instead of me having hurt feelings, I'm a dick. So.
Valid. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but I like the forums. I encourage the forum use. I really should use the forums more.
Maybe I'll look for a forum.
You better calm down, Ike. I still got those papers. Okay?
I have a big mouth, so I'm afraid to forum because last time I got banned. But people are mean on forums too. Like I don't got time for that. If somebody
doesn't mean like look but don't touch.
Think of trade chat, but like
less
worse.
Anal.
Yes, less anal jokes, yes.
Oh, I see what you did there.
So the beauty of my World of Warcraft time is I don't have general or trade chat. I don't have those channels whatsoever.
Mine's turned off too.
It is blissful. Then when I get on an alt that I haven't turned it off on and I see the first two sentences of whatever bullshit's being said, I'm like, this is the reason. My life in World of Warcraft has improved exponentially since I took both of those chats off.
It's because you get triggered and you respond.
I do, and it's so hard for me to just not. especially when somebody's helping somebody else and they're giving wrong information. As a person who 99% of the time knows the right information, except I feel like I know and will have forgotten more than I'll ever remember, because when you podcast, and I'm pretty into it, guys. I know a lot of you don't like get to see that. Like, I'm pretty obsessive when it comes to knowing everything that I need to know and making sure that I know the information, that sometimes I forget it completely, because for every new thing I learn, I have to forget an Eminem lyric, and I don't really like that. So yeah, I know a lot. I know a lot of people think that I don't, but I'm actually quite.
You know how I combat general and trade chat? Like, how do I not make it a problem? I just partake. I join in.
But when I see
Yours is not turned
I
off.
troll trade chat all the time.
when I see people giving wrong information, I want to just scream, because I'm like, can you please not tell people the wrong thing to do, because whatever. And then the thing that I was on an alt, and I want to say it was the mage, before I turned it off, and I seen political stuff. And I just feel like there shouldn't be religion, politics, and video games. We have to deal with it in real life. I don't want to deal with it in World of Warcraft. I don't want to talk about Trump in World of Warcraft. I'm trying to pretend like this part of our life isn't existing right now. I'm trying to pretend like this isn't happening in America. But yet it is. So
on that note,
go ahead.
Just kidding.
No, we are going to talk about net neutrality, because we're going to talk about a forum post.
It is important.
Somebody brought up a really good point, and I actually like the point. And it does affect gamers, because it's ISP related, and it has to do with more of our individual rights and freedoms being taken away on the internet. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's talk about, Jimma's going to be talking about 2 of the class hall pets.
Yeah.
What?
Banfu, Cub of Banlu, and Brute. What you gonna do? My 2 healer pets. So I play the monk and the healer, the monk and the druid, and we've been given some really cool class pets that I'm going to talk to you about. The Banfu Cub of Banlu is the same as Zufu. Zufu you get from the Celestial Tournament, and Banfu Cub of Banlu is the monk pet that you get for doing monk stuff. Right? So the cool thing about the Banfu is it's actually it's pretty speedy. It's got 317 speed with awesome abilities. Actually the same abilities as Zufu for the most part. 4 of the 6 abilities are the same, but they're really good. I like them. Now the difference between Zufu and Banfu as far as just stats, Zufu, which is from the Celestial Tournament, just hits harder. It has a lot of attack power, and Banfu has a lot of speed. So the cool abilities that I like using, Spear, Claw, Feed, and Vengeance. Vengeance is in the 3rd slot, and what Vengeance does is it actually will hit the opponent for the exact amount, it'll heal you for the exact amount of damage that you just took. So with the faster version, if you get to attack first, if you get rocked in a round, or aka hit really hard, you'll have the decision to use Vengeance right there, and it will heal you for what you just got hit. Where when you're doing it with Zufu and you attack second, you're kind of maybe predicting the big hit to heal for that amount. So I really do like it. It's a reskin pet that we just needed to have in another color. Zufu visually is actually just one of the nicest pets, and so is Banfu. So Spirit Claws is just a hard-hitting ability in the 1st slot. It hits for 403 damage, which is a good chunk, and it hits for a little more damage because it doesn't have a 100% hit chance. It has 80%. So you can actually be a little risky, hit harder with either both of those pets. I know I'm mostly talking to you about Banfu, but yeah, really good pet, great add in the collection. And I thought I'd have the Brute one. I thought I'd just like find Brute in my Druid order hall, like some vendor would just have it and I wouldn't have to look, but I'd actually read on the internet how to get it. So that's why I don't have it, but I've planted it, hopefully. So in the Druid order hall, you have to, in the 2nd slot or the 2nd level of your order advancements in your order hall, you need Evergreen, and that allows you to plant 2 plots of rich soil, allowing you to grow and harvest plants, powerful, helpful items, right? So I found out that's how you get Brute, and Scrub Jimma didn't even know that you could get a Nightmare Lasher as well. So that's actually 2 pets that I don't have that hopefully are growing right now. You can get a bunch of different items from this part of your order haul, and there's no guarantee that I get the pets, but I've got 2 plots growing, obviously. That's what evergreen is, and maybe next week I'll get to tell you what a good crop grower I am, or farmer, if I get any of these pets. So I actually thought Groot looked like the Blossoming Ancient because it has the same picture. They look different, actually. I actually said on previous episodes that I was disappointed that they kind of reskinned a pet that you could buy. Now, they're very similar or the same in the sense that they're both trees with, you know, leaves on them or whatever. And they have similar abilities, of course. They have the healing moves, photosynthesis and sunlight. So you change the weather, and then you use photosynthesis, and it's actually over an overpowering heal, right? So both are very effective, or can be very effective. So I'm excited to get Brute. Brute also has an ability called I Am Brute, which is cool. So instead of sunlight, you can roar with nature's fury, and that will restore a chunk of health, about 334 health, and then it will increase your damage by 25% for 3 rounds. So that could help as far as just like healing yourself. And then am I keeping you up, Rem? I had to yawn earlier too. Of course, just healing with sunlight and photosynthesis is really good. So I'm very happy. I hope Banfu's a hit. I'm going to be trying to, I don't want to level, but there's so many reasons to level coming up here to get the other companion pets. The DK will be next, and then I had a choice between the Warlock and the Demon Hunter, and I definitely want to level the Warlock, but the Demon Hunter is just closer to 110. Probably won't put in that work. But, yeah, I'll let you know next week if I get Brute or a Nightmare Lasher. Cool.
You going to grow something else or not?
What do you mean? Grow what? Personality? I may be a virgin, but I'll fuck you up.
Oh, I love that
Belle.
you said that. I'm spreading it around like wildfire, guys. I'm telling
You're so
everyone. You are...
I can't tie my shoes so I can fuck your bitch.
That's right. That's right.
My shoes always stay tied,
What's
too.
funny and what I love is, like, people are so nice that they'll never come up to you and be like, dude, you're a virgin.
Well, no one does that anyway for a while, and they'll be like, yo.
No one's ever going to be mean to you and say that kind of stuff. Like, no one is ever going to do
nice
that.
to the 30-year-old virgin.
Speaking of shoes, do you guys know why criminals prefer shoelaces over Velcro on their shoes?
No, why?
So they can tie up loose ends.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Well, guys, we did talk about we do have bad jokes. My favorite comment last week was somebody said they loved the show, but we had really bad jokes. And then I think it was, a berserk, I can't remember. I feel like he was like, it might have even been Breg. Breg Videos is one of our watchers, but he was like, do you know? I mean, it's Pomecast, like they're famous.
I don't know. I didn't understand.
I'm trying to find it right now because it made me laugh.
So
there was lots of comments that I didn't get to. I'll actually get to those on Friday, guys. So if I didn't respond, it's not because I don't love you, but I will make sure that my dog's doing, I don't know.
It was Burks. It was Burks 87.
And he's like, are you new here? Pomecast equals bad jokes. Something like that.
Yeah, that's that's who we are, guys. We're bad jokes.
See, it predates me, okay?
I mean, you brought the...
I just help.
You brought the pain when it came to, like, the bad puns. Now, whenever I see, like, a super bad pun, I'm like, oh, that would be a fun one for Rem. He probably has that in his pun bank anyway.
I was going to ask him to do tree ones or bark ones for the Groot and the Blossoming
Leave that for later.
Right?
It's embarrassing.
We don't want to overdose the listeners on...
The crap part about him being here is him and my husband go back and forth at the dinner table.
Man.
Along with my 16-year-old with super bad puns. Then if I chime in with one, nobody laughs at my pun. And I'm like, what? Really?
No, so Dark did a really good one a long time ago. I was walking something out of the room and I stepped on a little weight. And I tripped over it, and I was like, oh, what was that? And he said, wait! Because it was a weight, but
that was the best one. That was...
You had to be there. Anyways.
For real. That was the first bad joke ever on the show.
We'll get to the root of everything going on, okay?
That's awful. I'm going to let you go with your segment because I messaged the husband to do whatever he needs to do with the dogs. I don't know what they're doing, but they're literally right here behind my monitor. scratching and doing whatever weird stuff. Rem is going to be talking about allied race lore, which is interesting to say the least.
That was interesting. So, okay, so we don't know a lot about some of them. A lot of them we know a lot about because we have Lightforged Draenei, which we have been involved with pretty what's the word? Intimately on Argus. High Mountain Tauren as well. We've been messing around with on Legion quite a bit in High Mountain because I mean the High Mountain Tauren and the High Mountain, it makes sense. The Dark Iron Dwarves and the Void Elves are something that is Void Elves are completely fresh. Dark Iron Dwarves are just like Mordia Tharison, one of the 3 hammers in Ironforge. Is something that we have gone up against, fought against, and recently took in to the fold of the Alliance in a cooperative manner. So a little bit of backstory and a bit like what will going on and how might we interact with them and obtain them in BFA. So Lightforged Tauren, Lightforged Draenei, they are pretty much just your basic Draenei that were leaving Argus, and they undergone the Lightforged, they were blessed by the light by Xerath. What Xerath tried to do to Illidan forcefully, which did not go over well, as you may already know. So basically, after Antorus goes on and we cancel out that invasion going on, they are left with a cause that is no longer needed at the moment. Their main objective is against the Void, but as of right now, they will be joining up with Velen and helping us against whatever's going on in Cool Terrace and everything after that with Ashara and everything like that. So Lightforged Draenei are special, but they're just Draenei that went blessed by the light. And some of their characteristics and physical appearances is actually really, really nice. It's not just golden eye Draenei. You can have different runes around their body that look like a Naru on their back and their shoulders. They have different symbols like Velen does for the Naru, and their facial features in the hair is amazing. But they will be able to be pretty much, the Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Priest, and Mage, which makes perfect sense along with what a Draenei is. And yeah, we'll be getting them. I'm assuming in a pre-patch kind of deal, because we already have all the prerequisites for it. We are hopefully you are exalted with Army of the Light. But so the High Mountain Tauren, well, it makes perfect sense because they are descendants of Hul and High Mountain during the Old Wars, and they are associated obviously with the Tauren and Mulgore, but they are everything that a Tauren can be, except not paladins or priests, because they don't follow the Musha and Anshi. And we'll be getting them probably through the reputation that we already gained through High Mountain, and we'll see what goes on with them and what they can benefit for the Horde on Zandalar. The Dark Iron Dwarves are part of the reason why dwarves are able to be mages and warlocks is because of the Dark Irons. They are really involved in sorcery and dark magic, and we will learn a lot about them, I'm hoping, on Cool Terrace or wherever the questing and the story will take us for them. It'll probably bring Moria back into the forefront of the Alliance and hopefully bring in lore onto that. And then the Void Elves are very interesting. So what happened is a collection of Blood Elves in Silvermoon were experimenting in the Void and pretty much delving into it like Illyria has with Locust Walker. And surprisingly enough, they were actually shunned and removed from Silvermoon, regardless of the fact that the Blood Elves willingly subdued and sucked out the energy. That sounded dirty, sorry. Sucked out the energy of the Naru. I think it was Moru, who turned into a void god. And so these collection of Blood Elves will be shunned out. Illyria is going to take them in and teach them in the ways of the void, get them familiar with their abilities, and pretty much bring them into the fold of the Alliance, because you have Illyria Rendrunner and her sister Varissa Rendrunner that are part of the High Elves and the Silver Covenant. And it's pretty much bringing Blood Elf models to the Alliance and OP Night Elves to the Horde for the Nightborn. But it'll be really interesting what the Void Elves are capable of. And so as of right now, they can be hunters, mages, monks, which makes sense because they're technically Blood Elves, priests, rogues, warlocks, and warriors. They can't be paladins because paladins are a lot more based around the light than the priests are. The priests understand the balance. Paladins are more of a Spanish Inquisition. They want to punish anything that is not the light. They are very, very, very holy and centric. It's a word.
Sounds racist.
Kind of, yeah. So the Zandalari are one of my favorites because that's something I've wanted since I first really learned about the troll lore and all about the different tribes, Amani, Girvashi, and the Zandalari are like the big head honchos. They are the OG. Like, they are the Aztecs of the southern tribes for the Indians. They are what it means to be a troll. And so as of right now, we don't know exactly what will be their classes, but we're going to learn a lot about their lore and what they've been dealing with in their civil war with Zul, and see what Rastakhan has been up to, since this is the first time we've actually come face-to-face with them. And we saw a small vision of Rastakhan in Mesa Pandaria when he was speaking with Zul, when he was trying to warn him about the coming doom of the world, pretty much. But my assumption is you'll have all the basic classes of what the troll does. You'll have the warrior, hunter, priest, everything like that. But druid as well, because they have the special travel form as a little compy or velociraptor, whatever you want to call it. I'm pitching the idea that their tank form, their bear form, is going to be a triceratops or an ankylosaurus. That'd be awesome. Anyways, I'm gonna pitch it again that Zandalari are going to be able to be paladins, because in Throne of Thunder there is, I can't remember the name of it, it's escaped me. Oh, Zandalari prelates. They have paladin-like abilities, and so I'm hoping and kind of guessing that Zandalari would be able to be paladins, which would be pretty cool. Could being another playable class for the paladins on the Horde. And it could bring a little bit lore onto the Loas and how that could be tied into the Paladin. And the Nightborn, hashtag not fan favorite, will be, you'll learn a lot about them from their interactions with the Liadrin, that you actually hear some of the dialogue between Liadrin and I think it's Silgern. I can't remember his name, but it's on the Vindikar. And they talk about their plights and how they kind of see eye to eye on their hunger for magic and the fact that they lose it by us taking out the Nightwell and utilizing the Eye of Almanthul. And you'll learn a lot about them and more about them and their interactions with Blood Elves, and it'll be really, really, really interesting. My assumption is classes will be basically warrior, mage, warlock, stuff like that. Well, maybe not warlock. I'm hoping for not really a paladin, but for a priest, obviously, see what kind of twist they can do for the lore on that, and see what goes on with that. But Yeah, that's some of my assumptions and some of the stuff going on with the new allied races. And the Zandalari and the Dark Iron Dwarves, we'll learn more about and more unlock on Zandalar and Kulteris. It'll be very interesting on why the Dark Iron Dwarves are on Kulteris, or maybe one of the islands that are nearby, or because, like I said, they're very into or sorcery and dark magic. Maybe we catch them messing with Azurite, something like that. But we'll learn about that in the pre-expansion patches, and yeah.
Yeah. What?
I'm dying.
That was interesting. That was a lot of information, obviously, to get out.
Totally forgot to mute during that drink, too. That was super awesome. He
He gets to
apologizes.
celebrate.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
It's okay.
Celebrate.
Go ahead
after
and
the
mute,
segment.
though, right now, because you're still clearing your throat. Yeah. Sometimes we forget to mute. Rem's getting a lot better with his segments. Still a lot of ums, and we're going to work on that this next week. Actually, I'm going to find a training exercise to remove the ums. That's just something that you learn. I had to stop saying and so. I even do it a lot of times when I'm recording videos. I have to edit out a lot of those so's because it's like my thinking word. When I'm trying to think of what I need to say, it's my thinking word. But we will work on that. So I think I counted like 42. I like to count them just because
That's not so bad, only 42.
I have nothing better to do with my life, guys. It's the sad state of affairs. But with that being said, I am excited to see what else they're going to be coming up with for the allied races, because I know that this isn't going to be the last of them. So I'm pretty stoked to see.
They're like testing the waters with this, it seems.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rem, you had linked a forum fuckery to me, and it was deleted. I went to check on what it was, and it was deleted. So that is not going to be on the topic for Belle's Bite. So this week on the weeks, I mean, I'll do the forum fuckery every week, but especially on the weeks when I didn't get a chance to. I didn't play a whole lot this last week anyway, but some of these are not necessarily like to make fun of them per se, but I don't feel like, I don't know, it just feels like it was weird for the forum. But this first one, it's titled, "I want more skimpy transmog for female characters." So in this forums, he has a valid point. He or she, not sure if it's I don't want to gender assume. They don't like the old gear because any of the old, like, kind of skimpy mogs are pixelated because it's old. They haven't, redone those models for the armor. So they want more modern options. And then somebody said, so this person said, "I'm tired of always transmogging to pixelated, crappy-looking gear from vanilla. Why can't we get a few modern transmog options with each expansion for those of us who enjoy playing scantily clad female characters? Yes, I know because we're combating sexism, but come on. If I wanted to wear bulky armor, I'd play a male orc or tauren, since their bodies accentuate it. I'm not asking for female armor to be barely there. I just like some more options to pick from." The comments on this are what makes it pretty glorious. Somebody said, "Have you seen the female demon hunter Belf armor?" And somebody said, "Only an emo kid would play a demon hunter, no offense." Some of this stuff in regards to the forums is really just on the nature of the conversation, but I thought it was interesting. I don't really see a lot of forum posts in regards to people wanting more scantily clad female characters. To that end, why do only the females have to be scantily clad? Maybe some of the males want to be scantily clad as well. Like some of these models, like the Taurens, they're quite buff. The Draenei, they're quite buff as far as the male models are concerned. Why can't we get skimpy thongs for the males? I can't really talk shit per se because Belle has a slut mog. And the reason that she has a slut mog is because she has a human butt, and it's amazing to watch. Like, I like watching it. I got the same version of my Mage Weave set in a different color. I got the red version for my Horde tune because I thought my Horde's also a warlock, and she's, she's Belle in nature. Even though she's a troll, she'll be #fan favorite Nightborn whenever that's available. But I I just really like. I too like the slut mogs because that's not how I dress in real life, so I do like to act out a little bit using Belle to do that. But
it's a decent request.
the nature of the conversation, a lot of people weren't really mean. I expected somebody was like, your mog is hideous. Obviously it's quite a lengthy forum. Then somebody else said the same thing I did. How come men can't get equally skinny? So this isn't necessarily, I just felt like the post was kind of odd amongst, when I read it, it was like a slew of bug issues. Characters. Helga, by the way, High Society, the troll hunter, is the one that posted that. It just felt like it, of all the things, is that really what I mean, I guess every issue is an issue to someone, right? Just because it's not the important one, but I feel like...
I mean, that's actually brings up an important point of all the old models of armor. It looks really outdated on the new models, so...
Yeah, I had the, it's like the purple and green, like the hibernated something armor. What the heck was it called? And it looked really... I mean, it was cute, but, like, she didn't really have good cleavage because it was, like, ugly, flat. It wasn't like three-dimensional. It was kind of like flat. Belle didn't like that. She didn't like wearing that. Although I wore it for like an entire expansion. I think that might have been my Warlords of Draenor mog, because I mog for every expansion. I might keep this Black Mage Weave set going in through...
Shit, I eat mog for every week.
No, I go through that stage where it's like my end of the expansion celebration where I'll change my mog. But I'm quite attached to the Black Mage Weave set, to be perfectly honest.
Even after you saw someone with it on? Is that where you're going?
Yeah. So we're in comms, right?
It's a common one.
We're in Zoom. We're hanging out. And I'm running through Dalaran and I see somebody with my same exact mog. They even had the Nightfallen Tabard on. You don't even really know what my mog looks like because I have the Nightfallen Tabard on, so you can't really tell what it is. And I was like, who is this hussy? So I begin to give chase to figure out who this person is that is wearing my same mog. Now, obviously, everybody, at some point, somebody's going to wear your mog, right? But it's one of those things where it's such an older set that it's not common. I've never actually seen it on another person before. I've never seen that on another person. So to me, it was really strange to see. I've had this mog this entire expansion. I did it right before... right before the end of last expansion is when I changed my mog. I've not one time ever seen anybody with my transmog. Not in Battlegrounds.
When my priest was female, like I had the Black Mage Weave, so I mean it's pretty common.
But it isn't common to me. Like I don't see people with my transmog is what I'm saying.
What was Rem's response?
No, he was just like, oh, it's a basic bitch transmog.
Yeah. He said it so like.
And I'm just like, it hurts my feelings that you don't care about how I feel. He was just laughing and making fun of me. But it might be basic, right? There might be 20 people on a large populated server that are all standing next to each other wearing this. But on Argent Dawn, it's not something that I've seen before. I have not, even in the battle group with being in different battlegrounds, I've never seen somebody with that mog. I've never seen anybody.
Well, for instance, my priest right now has a basic bitch mog. I have just the absolution gear.
Right. But the Black Mage Weave isn't something that is common for my Warlock. Typically you see them with the, tier 9 or tier 6. I always get them confused with the wings.
Tier 69 doesn't matter.
But it's just not, it's not typical. I'm just saying. I personally don't, and Rem's just making fun of me the whole time. Shocked. I never found the person. I just want to be like, dude, we totally look alike. And you even have my tabard. Like it was the exact same.
So this is where we differentiate. So I think I use that right. Either way, when I see someone with my same mog, I'm like, yeah, all right. Instead of, hey, fuck, pussy.
I like to be an individual, and Belle doesn't like. It'd be like me showing up to a party wearing an outfit and somebody else wearing that same outfit. What are we, twins? That's not the way that this works. Like, we want to be individuals.
And
twins. It's more like you bumped into them in the mall and you were wearing the same outfit. Right.
But I wasn't hating. I just was, like, trying to find them. I was, like, stalking them through Dalaran, and then I lost them through the portal. They took one of the portals, and I was really sad. Rem was making fun of me the whole time. But it was just weird to me because I'd never seen that. Now,
funny.
the next one for the forum fuckery, this made me laugh so hard out loud just because I thought super interesting that this is a topic on the forums, but then I thought it's actually a pretty valid topic. So the reason this is here is more of a Rem question. The title of it is Anduin Needs a Queen. So
Or king.
at first, like, I laughed pretty hard because I thought, okay, really, now's not the time to focus on him having a wife. In my opinion, right now he's just coming into his own and showing me why he's my king. Now's not the time to get some vagina and go fucking nuts, right? Because that's what happens. He's probably a virgin. Now is not the time for all that because then he's going to be...
What is your obsession?
I'm just saying, like, he's not going to be... Guys, you know what I'm saying? If once...
Correct. You can't go fight the war.
Once you've gotten it for the first time, your brain is focused on other things. I need him to be focused on the battle at hand. Like, what we're about to go through, I need him to be focused because we are fighting the Horde. But basically, the post is, Anduin needs a king, but who would be a proper candidate? Usually a prince or ex-prince in this case would marry a princess, so maybe Princess Tess, but she's a Worgen. Jaina's too old, and she's been rode way too many times. She's too much for Anduin. He couldn't handle her. Yeah, he couldn't handle her. Rathian is a guy, but, I mean...
That's what I was laughing at.
Maybe. Is there anyone out there that can take care of our king? That's what made me laugh. Is there anyone out there that can take care of our king? What I love is the fantasy. Like, this person's, like, similar to me where I feel like this is legit my king, and I feel like this person's like, is there anyone out there that's going to take care of our king? I agree.
Do you want
I'm
a
with
legitimate
you.
answer?
Well, yeah.
Because I actually have a scenario that, I mean, they would
That's
never
what
do
I
this,
wanted to ask
and it
you
doesn't
is
make sense.
what do you think?
So, for instance, Kalia Menethil, she is Arthas's brother.
Wait,
And so
she's Arthas'
sister, yeah, that's what I meant. Either way,
You made it
she's
super
related-
weird.
She's related to Arthas in some form or another. And so when he took over Lordaeron and everything went to shit, she went into hiding. And she shunned her title, but in all intents and purposes, she is the princess of Lordaeron. And she holds a stake to the throne. And so technically, if they were to make something legitimate, she would be the closest thing to being be able to be betrothed to Anduin.
Remember that picture I sent you guys?
Well,
No.
No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anduin.
somebody said, now that I think about it, is Tess really a Worgen? I never seen her in Worgen form. Or did I miss something? Also, WoWWiki Gen's race is written as Worgen and Tess is human. Somebody said don't use WoWWiki. But one of the
Tess
community
Crowley?
managers, or one of the forum people that works for Blizzard said, indeed, Tess is not a Worgen, like her brother and father, but I do wonder if her association with the Uncrowned would make her the perfect candidate. Don't know. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Rem, does that mean anything? No?
He's looking for a princess.
I mean, we got to get... Our king needs... But I feel like now's not the time, right?
Well, he probably has a bunch of maidens at the castle for when he's resting from these battles, right?
But I feel like now's not the time for him to be married and settled down. But then when you think about it, maybe now is the right time, because he could legitimately die in battle. Do I think Blizzard's going to kill him off? No, but if I'm thinking from a realistic standpoint, if I'm the king, I need to mate right now and I need an heir, because right now there isn't one. And I'm obsessed with Back in the Day of Kings, which Rem will tell you, like, I'm absolutely obsessed with Kings back in the day and how obsessed men were when it came to making sure they produced heirs and all of those things. And I imagine that would be myself if I was back in the day, and a man, of course. I would be obsessed with making sure that my line could continue. That's human nature at its finest. So I guess it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword.
You know, Tess Greymane and Kalia Menethil would be the best.
I feel like Tess would be more so because Gen is like Anduin's second dad, right? Like, he's...
That just makes it awkward.
Well, but does it though? If I was Gen, right? So I'm Gen. Back in the day, men would parade their women in front of the king, hoping that the king would take one of them as their mistress. They would parade their daughters in front, hoping that the king would take a mistress. if I'm Gen, I'm like, oh shit, I got a girl that's of age. I would get power with the king if I put my daughter, and like that would be, if I was Gen, that would be what I don't know if that's proper, but I feel like
That's not proper.
I feel like that would just like lock in his position, not like it needs to be, but I don't know. Maybe he wants more power and the daughter will give it to him. But I think I like the idea of Tess, although have we seen her? I don't know that I've ever had any interaction that I would
she's
remember.
associated with the rogue stuff. So
which would make sense because
really.
I don't do rogue things, so I wouldn't have a lot
I
of that.
don't either. I hate rogues.
But the Anduin needs a queen made me chuckle, and is there anyone out there that can take care of our king? My hat's off to you, because that was an amazing post. I really like that one. This one. Okay, so
Rathian makes more sense.
the title of this post is If You Are Going to Nitpick Loktar Ogar. Never would I ever think that my alliance mouth would ever utter those words. By the way, so if those of you that are Horde, save that and gif it, because it is... Never will you ever hear me say that again. So this guy, maybe girl, sounds like a guy by the way it's worded. He says, if you're going to nitpick on Loktar Ogar, then I'm going to nitpick your silly For the Alliance call. Oh, boo-hoo, Sylvanas betrayed the Alliance and Varian died. Get over yourself. First off, Sylvanas wasn't in charge of the Broken Shore assault. Vol'jin was. Fact. So I agree with that. Sylvanas was following orders. If you don't understand that you aren't worth my time trying to show you what really happened there. Now on to your For the Alliance cry. Why the heck do you think that Horde and Alliance teamed up to go defeat the Legion? I'll tell you why, because united we stand, divided we fall. We attacked Broken Shore for Azeroth. Then he says, but your king, in his last act of defiance, chose to spit in the face of Gul'dan by being selfish and saying, for the Alliance. His deliberate exclusion of the Horde showed Gul'dan and the Legion that Azeroth was divided. We were not a unified force. Where do I start? There's more. I love the fact that you are super like Horde, and I love and I appreciate that. I think you're kind of insulting For the Alliance. Sorry, it's not in a cool like Horde speak. It's not Horde language, right? It's American or whatever, Azerothian, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So basically, he's upset because we're upset, and then he's mad at our king because our king said For the Alliance. I don't necessarily think that it was Varian's last act of defiance. This seems like it's alternative news. So I'm going to call it alternative news because you're making an assumption. You're assuming that it was my king's last act of defiance against the Horde was to say for Azeroth. I don't know necessarily that that was the thing, or to say for the Alliance. Here's what I can say if I was Varian. Yes, I get it. This whole expansion, we've been united, right? Horde and Alliance have worked together toward a common goal, which is destroying the Legion. Totally get that. I've been dealing with leveling with Horde and having them steal my mobs and all the other bullshit that's gone along with cohabitating, and I'm so happy for Battle for Azeroth, and I don't have to deal with your guys' shit. No offense, I love you all. I don't think necessarily that it was an FU to the alliance that we had with Horde per se on my king side. I think it was more because Gul'dan is Horde. If I was facing Gul'dan, I would say For the Alliance because he's Horde. I don't think necessarily it was an FU to Vol'jin or Sylvanas or anything of that nature. I do really firmly believe it was because it was Gul'dan. I think What?
No, I think it's mostly because he sacrificed himself for the gunship. Like at that moment, it was for the Alliance.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily like if Vol'jin's dying, I don't expect Vol'jin to say for Horde and Alliance or whatever. Like I don't expect Vol'jin to say anything in regards to Alliance because he's Horde. Like it just doesn't make sense in the story that what did you expect Varian to do? You wanted Varian to be like, for both factions. That doesn't make good TV, guys. That's not a good cutscene. Nobody does that shit. However, somebody said, what? Varian died, literally, so the Alliance could get away. Varian did not sacrifice himself for the Horde. Christ, the Horde were supposed to support Alliance on the Broken Shore. They pulled out, leaving the Alliance defenseless, the abandonment. We all know, because we've seen, if you've watched, experienced it from both sides, it was a miscommunication. It wasn't necessarily Horde doing that on purpose. It just is what it is. But I agree. Varian died literally for the Alliance. He didn't die for the Horde, although we were working with the Horde. But I think to use this as a means to continue, like, you're going to talk shit about for the Alliance. I let you say your Loktar Ogar shit. I don't talk shit to you. I even like posts where people say that because it's like, it's the same difference. Then somebody who is obviously Horde comes on and defends the original poster, and like, there's a lot of back and forth, but this guy gets the win of the day because I feel like you can't come on here with one perspective and expect people to listen to that one perspective. You came on from a Horde perspective, insulting the Alliance and making an assumption saying that Varian's last act of defiance. I don't think it was his last act of defiance. I think it was his last fuck you to Gul'dan. I think it was his last, well, fuck you in general, really, because he died. But I don't think he had any thought process behind it outside of protecting his people, which is what you should do. I don't expect Vol'jin to give his life for Alliance. I don't. I would never expect that because, that's not, people don't do that.
Not how it goes.
Nobody goes running to another country or kingdom and says, let me die for you before I die for my own people. That's just not the way that it works. And to expect that is a little bit ridiculous. To expect Varian to be for the Horde when he isn't for the Horde. I don't expect Sylvanas to be for the Horde. I didn't expect Vol'jin to be for the Horde, or for the Alliance, although I believe if anybody would be, it would be Vol'jin. I actually had a lot of respect for Vol'jin. Vol'jin had a lot of wisdom, and he had a lot of respect for all people, not just his own people, and I always appreciated that about him. I feel like Sylvanas doesn't respect anybody but herself and her own feelings. So to me, and that's fine, like, we're all going to have different opinions. Everybody loves the Dark Lady, watch over you, whatever, like, that's cool. But to me, from a leadership perspective, I kind of respected Vol'jin even a little bit more than Varian. But Varian had a lot of hate and was super racist, right? Like, Varian was kind of like Hitler. We talked about this previously, where he, like, tried to kill all the Horde, and, like, I understand that. Even as Alliance, I knew that some of the things that they did from an Alliance perspective was wrong towards the Horde, and I understand that, and I don't agree with that, obviously, but I always respected Vol'jin because I feel like he respected all people and not just his own. So I would expect Vol'jin to die for somebody that's Alliance because I think that's in his nature. I think he would die for anybody, really, but I wouldn't expect Varian's too racist to die for anybody that's not Alliance, and Sylvanas would never. I mean, she's anti-Alliance, so. Although all this stuff on the internet, if you guys have seen, there's all this deviant art and all this concept art of Anduin and Sylvanas having a thing. So weird. Pretty weird, actually. All blood is justified when it comes to the Alliance. Remember Camp Toronto? Never forget. Some of these comments on this post. So basically the reason is I feel like he picked a fight for no apparent reason in regards to Loktar Ogar and for the Alliance. I think it's fine for both factions to have their little thing. And I think it's, obviously Loktar Ogar sounds better than for the Alliance because it's like fancy. Right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Ring chain.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue better.
No, it's not that. It's just, it's different because it's not English. So it's already like...
No, or the Alliance is way too many syllables. Like, fuck.
Whatever. But you guys should go read the post. Some of that stuff is actually quite funny. Some of it gets a little dumb, and there's sometimes they insult. And one guy had a whole big long explanation, but I like the different perspectives. And then somebody said Alliance players are so self-centered. Seriously? We're self-centered? That's weird. That's weird that a Horde player would say we're self-centered because I think it's pretty equal. I think there are moments when Horde and Alliance can equally be self-centered, and I think that's the nature of humans, not necessarily faction. Just going to throw that out there. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So the very last one, somebody posted, so why do people have data caps? So the gist of this post, and this isn't really here to make fun of or anything like that, is because I thought that it was important for our listeners and our viewers to understand. So he talks about, he says, I live in an area that has unlimited net and for no extra charge. Yet one state over, people have a data cap and they pay a ton extra for it. So why will people not rise up in arms about data caps? I was told in the EU they made it a law that net should never be capped. So with all this talk of net neutrality and people will rise up if they slow down data flow, you're letting cable companies basically bend you over and you're paying,
Cap your data.
they're capping your data and you're paying, you know, an ungodly amount of money for unlimited data or for additional data in sets or however your ISP does it. And he basically states that net neutrality is another step in that area. We're clearly okay with the caps because we've kind of taken it lying down. What makes us think that we're going to be able to change this net neutrality? I don't know what is going on in my hallway, but I got to tell you what, like I'm really close to losing my mind. My dogs.
Up in here.
But it's one dog. And it's the dog I hate.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Do you want to take a dog with you, Rem, when you go back home? Do you
I'm
want
taking the cat.
Just mail it to me.
You can't mail animals.
Yeah, you can. You just poke a couple holes in the box. But net neutrality is important, Belle. I agree.
And we're going to discuss what that is because a lot of people might not know about it. And the reason that I'm discussing this at the end, kind of the end point here, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is because sometimes we see things that happen, and this is particular to U.S. If you're not in U.S., this doesn't really matter much to you. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to repeal net neutrality in the United States. Basically, what will end up happening if this repeal goes through is it's no longer a free internet per se. ISPs will be able to limit what you can use on the internet as far as browsing. They can decide, okay, if you go with, I'm going to use Verizon as an example. If you use Verizon Wireless for internet, why anybody would want to use Verizon for internet, I have no idea. But if you use Verizon for internet, they can say you can only go to Yahoo for your search. You have to pay extra to be in a different chunk for Google. They can take your social media and say, if you pay this much money a month, you can use Facebook and you can use Yahoo, but you can't use Twitter and you can't use Google. Basically, what that's doing is breaking down that barrier where the way that we browse and the things that we do on the internet are no longer just free for us to be able to make that choice. It basically puts it into sections. There's a country that does this now. There's several countries that do it that don't have net neutrality, and they have to pay certain chunks. You pay however much money for YouTube and Google and these amount of social medias. Yeah, basically, oh, you want to go to this site? Oh, you're going to have to pay more money. The reason that they're doing this is really, really simple because it's money and it's big corporations, and that's really the reason behind this. And I know that a lot of you might not know what it means, but it's important for you to write your congressman. It's important for you to be active. It's important for you to get involved in these organizations that are trying to put a stop to it so that your voice can be heard, because this affects a lot of things, especially for us as gamers, because our lives are on the internet. So it does affect a lot. But I liked the reason that I wanted to highlight this guy's post, Myheria, maybe Night Elf Demon Hunter. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I appreciated basically he's like, oh, you guys will just sit there and pay out the yin-yang for additional data or allow your data to be capped. Data that you pay for the service. You'll allow your data to be capped, but you're going to get all up in arms about net neutrality. What do you guys think you're going to do about it? You're not going to make any change by bitching about it on forums or complaining about it on your Twitter and your Facebook. Retweeting is not enough unless you're getting active and you're sharing that information so that other people can get involved to put a stop to this, because the reality is if we don't put a stop to it, it's going to happen and it's going to be bad for everybody involved. Little by little, as Americans, we give up our freedom to one power, which is something that our forefathers fought really, really hard to not have happen. And unfortunately, whether we choose to acknowledge that or not, every year we give up more of our rights as Americans. It is what it is. I'm the most patriotic person I've ever met in my life, and it's sad for me to get that. But I understand what he's saying about the data because I've been through this recently with my ISP. I have Cox Communications for my internet. I have recently upgraded to Gigablast, which is gig speed. It's no longer 100 or 200 megs. It's full gig speed. I upgrade and I have 1 terabyte of data. That's what my cap is. I go over that, by double, sometimes triple every single month because my whole life is on the internet. They have, they'll charge you for 1 gig, or I don't remember how the charge goes, but it ends up being where it ends up like, it's like $100 a month extra for those, the way that they section out the overages.
It can only get worse.
So I call and they say, well, we have unlimited. You could have unlimited data. You mean I could have unlimited of money I already pay? I can pay more for service for stuff I already pay for? Sure, let me light my money on fire. It's $50 a month for unlimited data. In the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. However, when I have cable and I have phone service because I have to have a landline because I have children, add up all those things, it's the same as a car payment is what I'm paying for all these things that it's price gouging at its finest, which is fine. But this guy or girl, the point is we roll over and take it. I mean, I call and complain to my ISP every month, and I get them to credit me the $49 in some form or fashion because that's just the kind of customer service caller. I'm Karen calling to speak to your fucking manager. Like, that's legit my life. But there's a lot more involved with the net neutrality that I don't necessarily know that I understand the full weight of, but I've been educating myself over the past few weeks about it because I feel like it's important for me to educate others about it. And I know it's not World of Warcraft related, but it was on a WoW forum.
It is,
and it is, and it does, you know, it makes a difference. And you might think that it's not a concern to you, but it is, and it should be. And if you
I wonder how it affects me.
Yeah,
So,
well, you're not Canadian. I mean, you're not American, so it's not an American thing. I mean, it's an American thing. It's not a Canadian thing.
Right.
Eventually, it could affect other people
Right.
because, yeah. But no, like, Jim, think of it this way. So when we're playing World of Warcraft, we are using data, not a lot, but we're using data to connect to their servers, blah, 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 blah. Let's say Blizzard has to pay every ISP this amount of money to have their network not be flooded or bottlenecked. Throttled, yeah. Let's say League of Legends and their Riot Games, the company that owns it, if they pay a little bit more, they can have better network speeds and stuff like that. So it's pretty much it's not going to limit the ISP's power over the internet, and you know they're going to price gouge us up the ass because that's what they want to do. It's all about money.
I'm not about anybody telling me I have to use a certain browser or I have to use a certain search or I have to pay extra to do the things that I do every day because I'm already a slave to money. I live to work. That's it. I don't have... I'm a slave to money. If you have credit cards or if you have car payments or if you have mortgage payments, you're a slave to money. That's what you are, and it is what it is. It is just the way of life. I work every day. I work every day to make money only to see it gone the very next day for bills. That's it. There's no breathing room. I have my little things in life, but I mean, and I'm happy with that. I don't need anything more, but I'm already a slave to money. I don't want to be a slave anymore. I feel like I really wish, I don't know how many of you are Trekkies, but Star Trek, one of the things that I always appreciated is they talked about how they were they had evolved so much as humans that there was no currency, that instead they worked every day because they needed to do it for humankind. They needed to do it for each other. The housemaker had to make houses. The banker had to, or the grocer had to deal with groceries. The farmer had to farm so that everybody could eat. It was more of a all hands in type of deal for humans versus currency, because currency is the only thing that motivates people. Currency doesn't motivate me because we do this shit for free, guys. Like, I want to live in that world. Anyway, that was a huge sidebar, but the internet thing, and that is something that is important because it does affect people. So if you are in the United States and you are seeing these conversations of net neutrality and you think that it's not a big deal and that it doesn't affect you, think again. Also, those of you that watch a lot of porn, you ain't going to be watching shit if they repeal that net neutrality. Or if you are, you're going to be...
pay the bill.
You're going to be paying a lot for that free porn. So...
I think we have listeners affected in those countries, right? That already have it. Not that...
I'm sure there might be listeners that have it.
If they're based in the U.S., other countries can be...
I'm sure there's other countries that somebody from another country that listens that has it that can there was a post that I should have shared. I should have they shared one of the other countries and how their blocks of what they're allowed to have works out and how much they have to pay for each different block and each different tier. So it's a scary thing, and I wanted to highlight that because I thought it was cool that it was brought to the Blizzard forums. I think it's nice that people are in a banter about it and that people are getting educated and knowing, what can you do to help rally the masses. Like, if it was me, guys, on a porn level, real talk, I'd be burning buildings down. You try to mess with my porn, burning buildings down.
I thought you ain't about that porn.
I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of you are about that porn, and I'm not judging you guys. That's okay. Like, I'm not judging you. But if you're about that porn, just think of what your life would be like without that porn. Okay?
Gary V would...
Get involved.
Gary Vee was talking about, like, how there's like the 1% and like all those businesses rule the world and stuff, or like try to control the dollar. There's like a community now trying to like force them, like, where they don't even like deal with any of that, and they're trying to build on that. I wish I had the name of it, but it just sounds like a great idea, because like obviously we need those million-dollar companies for some things, but we have, like you said, with the farmer and all that, like we have enough people in the world that if it's done right, we could take care of each other. But obviously there's so much corruption in the bigger...
What if humanity evolved in such a way that money was completely obsolete?
Yeah, there's something, I wish I knew what it was to say, and it's still in its early stages, but he's saying...
I need my Netflix.
But I mean, where we woke up with a drive to make life better, where we went into work every day not because we were paid, but because it made the world go round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that is a world we're never going to see or live in.
It's only going to get worse, guys. It's only going to get worse. I am sad for the future, but...
Our minimum wage just got approved to go up where I live, actually.
It's a bad time with minimum wage getting approved to go up higher. It was a big... I'm not even going to talk about that because I'm going to offend people, but it wasn't something that I agreed on here in my state. There's a lot of reasons, and it isn't because I'm a jerk, but...
No. There's reasons to... not want it to go up. It makes... Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's not... The show is...
Right.
I want everyone to like me still. I don't want anybody to hate me because my views.
Wait,
There's politics and religion do not belong, and a part of minimum wage discussion is politics, which really so is the net neutrality, but I think that's more internet than it is. I think that's more nerd.
Okay. Yeah, it's more related to
Warcraft.
It's more nerd. So the forum fuckery this week, I didn't really get to look as long as I wanted to find some like really juicy ones, but I got that in the bag this week. We had a couple and they got deleted, so I couldn't even talk about them. They were really good too.
Mine was really good.
Yeah, they were really good. What I need to start doing is grabbing screenshots of them so that when they get deleted, because it's usually the deleted ones, I need to start grabbing screenshots and the links. I'm going to make sure that I'm on point with that this week because we had a couple really good ones, so I had to get some, whatever. And if you guys see a really good forum post, feel free to screenshot and link it and hashtag forum fuckery.
Yo, I'm so
and
dumb.
Link it to @Belle of Pwnecast on Twitter or DM me, whatever.
Going down in the DM. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was dumb when he said deleted. I thought you meant the link that he sent you. You meant the forum was deleted.
The forum post was deleted, so I couldn't even read back. What I should have done is the day it was put in there, I should have grabbed a screenshot, and I just didn't think about it. And then I had to, and I had them bookmarked, and when I went to grab them earlier, it said 404 not found, and I'm like, shit. Now I have to...
Oh, you're going to get those screenshots.
Yeah, so next time I'm going to have to screenshot. That is pretty much the segments for the week. Jimma, what did you do this week in World of Warcraft?
I did a little PvP brawl. I just did Druid, and I mean, like, it's the same stuff for me. I really feel like I need more people to play with, maybe Big Ratty's listening. My schedule, like when my time is like on my days off, it's just I don't have as many people to game with. And
that's because when we're gaming, you're out on your bike pedaling.
I drive a lot
now. Or
now.
You're in your car with your dog in the back seat doing whatever weird shit you do.
Right.
Or you're at the local park and you're videoing on your freaking Snapchat. Those times when we play, you're always out doing not
Warcraft things. Right? And that's true in itself. Of course you got to balance whatever, but just sometimes when I'm on, and that's not a shot at like you guys won't game with me. I think it's just sometimes there's times where I'm on, or like world quests are so easy, but like I don't even want to do them. Like I just I am excited for the raid, and I'm excited for the new leveling. Obviously, like you guys mentioned, it's a great time to level alts, but I'm not feeling leveling until I see these allied races and everything's adjusted with
the zone scaling won't be till probably January.
Yeah,
right, which is okay. Right,
735 I don't even think is on PTR as of yet.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm
which is
thinking
still
mid-January is probably going to be when we're looking at that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad because my week in WoW is so boring. It's like I did a little PvP, I did a couple world quests, and that's it. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited for the raid, and I did some boring healer stuff.
Well, Jimma Banks, I'm on vacation for 4 days.
Right, actually, I'm off for the next 2 days as well. And Rem and I are talking. We will do more arena earlier in the PvP season. Rem wanted to do arena, and I kind of was like, no, I want to wait till next season. So I kind of ducked out on him on that, actually. But yeah, did you guys have a good week in WoW? I know you guys have been busy.
Rem, what did you do this week?
I did. I'm enjoying my little horde priest. It is now level 50. I'm cheesing it honestly at the moment because I'm waiting for the scaling zones. But I'm just cheesing it in holy spec and dungeons. I'll burn a couple dungeons, and I have a little orc warrior now that is only level 10, but I'm going to level that as well for a BFA that is named Bush Chicken because I have to buy Bush Chicken stocks. But no, it's been mostly horde miscellaneous stuff, and I ran out of order resources on Tuesday on the priest, so I was doing a lot of world quests to catch up on that. Yeah, but a lot of horde and miscellaneous tasks.
I too ran out on Belle, and it was like a week ago.
Like,
I had 25k resources, and I went to go do my missions, and I had like 100. I think I was on Zoom, and I'm like, what the really? Then I realized I do a lot of my phone. I do the missions so that when I log in, I have like a ton of AP.
Now,
yeah,
use
so
my
then I had to go
bloods.
do a gajillion world quests to quickly get my my coffers filled again. But I did similar to, worked on Belle de Troll, which is the horde side, slowly taking advantage of the invasions to gain a level. Because it's a warlock already, I don't need to level for the knowledge of playing that character or playing that class because
You need some more practice.
your mom needs more practice. But
Whoa.
just kidding, I love your mom. She's like my favorite person besides you, of course, Rem.
It's okay. You described your defense mechanism. He's not offended.
Right. Yeah, so I did some horde things, and I did Belle things. I helped the husband do some random stuff. He doesn't really need me much anymore because he has his own flying, but
He's an independent white
my favorite
woman.
thing is when he yells over his computer because he's frustrated with a quest. So then I said to him, did you
Google it?
I tell him if it's something I can't remember, I'll tell him, why don't you Google, and Wowhead will show up and you just look at the comments. Other players will tell you how they did it. And he's like, I've been flying over the same spot and I can't find this thing. I'm like, a user probably would have posted a screenshot in Wowhead comments. Like, seriously, I'm not trying to be a jerk by telling you to go to Wowhead, but
Didn't we have a whole episode of saying not to Google it?
sometimes I don't remember every single quest. Now, recently, he's been asking me about world quests, and I know them, and I can tell him right off the bat, oh, you need to go here, you need to do this, you need to do this, because I do those. But sometimes he'll have a quest that I just don't know about, and he expects me to know it all because I normally do, but there are still some things that I forget. Like, I'll remember and then forget. Like, flashback to me forgetting that Court of Stars and Arcway was on normal and heroic difficulty. We talked about it on the show, and I have no memory of us talking about that once. I had no idea that that was a thing.
I mean, you blanked it out for Eminem lyrics. It's okay.
Right, because for I have to delete that stuff for Eminem lyrics, and I don't necessarily want to do the other way around because I need my Eminem lyrics. They're my fuel, my hate fire, guys. When I get
to your point, like you said, you don't remember every
when I get
quest.
hopped up on Mountain Dew and start trolling the forums, listening to my Eminem in the background, it's getting me hyped up.
I'm cleaning up my...
That's
I
pretty much
expect
what I
one
did.
week. Sorry to cut you off. I expect 1 week for you to be like, so I'm banned from the forums.
Because
I got triggered.
I was on
Oh, that's
Mountain
not Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
I was on Mountain Dew and listening to Eminem, and I got all hyped up. So yeah, that was pretty much what I did, and I kind of hung out with the guild a little bit and just did stuff I like to do.
You did the mall with the Breakfast Club. That was cool.
I know. I wanted to talk about that. So we have this group of people in our guild, and I call them the Breakfast Club. I'm going to give myself credit because I'm actually the reason that they are called the Breakfast Club. And the reason I call them the Breakfast Club, I'm not going to disclose the actual reason because some of them listen to the show. I'm not going to disclose the actual reason, but basically these are my elitists in the guild. These are my elite of the elite. They're good at no matter what class they play. They're OPOP. It just, why bother even trying to be in any kind of league with these guys, because no matter what they play, they're amazing. Well, I like them all well enough. They're, some of them, one of them has been in the guild for a really long time, but so I labeled them the Breakfast Club is what I call them. Now, the crappy part about me is never does anybody ever invite me when it comes to the Breakfast Club. They're never like, oh, we should take Belle, right? Because Belle's kind of a scrub. Cool, I get it. It's whatever. They ask me. Now, guys, I have no illusions of grandeur here. I don't think it's because they super bad wanted to play with Belle. I think it's because they didn't have anybody else to run the key with, and I think everybody else was asleep because it was late. I'll take it. Whatever way you're going to give it, I'm completely going to take it. So I got super excited, and I was like, I really wanted to go to bed, but then I thought, if you say no, the Breakfast Club's never going to ask you again. I get in comms with them, and it was lovely. I'm still trying to do it with an injured finger, so it's difficult with my rotation a little bit.
How's your finger?
I still can't use it to push, so I have to do my rotation with these fingers. It's just I'm a little slow when not having the extra finger. It feels like...
Oh, that's what makes you slow. Okay.
No, but it isn't helping. I need all the help I can get. It's being gimped is not helping. Anyway, plus I'm super rusty with PvE stuff because when we're not raiding, I'm not doing much PvE stuff except World Quest. So if I'm not in that vibe, I have to be in that. I have to be in that zone. I have to be in that vibe. Anyway, so we were running the key, which was pretty cool. And they wanted to run. I think they wanted to run more, but I needed to go to bed. And then I was like, yeah, you could ask me anytime. I'm here. That girl, right? That loser girl that's trying to get invited to the party, right? That nobody invites her to. Everybody's going to the cool kid's house for the party, and I'm just over here nah. But I love the Breakfast Club. My guild, I guess, wouldn't be my guild without them. They're pains in my asses. Sometimes they're dicks. But, I think that's all of us, really, in general. Everybody has that potential.
Are they responsible for dropping the stuff in the guild bank?
No. There's several people that do it, and they're not even doing it to be jerks. I think they're genuinely trying to be helpful, which is why I kind of try to avoid bitching about it. But I think every guild has a Breakfast Club, and I think that's okay. I think it makes...
your left charge, Jim, you can put in the guild bank.
It makes it interesting, especially when they invite you to do things. I haven't been able to really do stuff. Van always invites me, and I always appreciate it. I get invited to stuff. It's just, I have to have the mental capacity to be able to run that. If the kids are awake, I can't be in a run that I can't get up and walk away from, which is really the issue. I can't be in an instance that I can't just get up and walk away from because my kids are insane. So, yeah.
So is that dog, I heard.
It's the dog I tried. It's the dog I tried to get rid of. I don't like getting rid of animals, but sometimes the dog does not fit your lifestyle. You don't know what you're getting when you get a puppy. It's a mixed bag. You don't know how it's going to turn out between you and that animal. And she does not fit my lifestyle, and I actually dislike her as a dog. She's cute, and I take care of her, and I love her, and I feed her, and all of those wonderful things. My animals are very fucking spoiled, but I don't like her. I don't like her. I tried to give her away to somebody who really, really wanted a needy dog. She's very needy and emotional. There's nothing wrong with that, so before all you animal lovers are like, wow, fuck you, Belle, not every dog is for a human. It just is what it is. Some dogs don't fit your lifestyle, or there isn't a symbol.
So you're going to mail it to me?
No, I'm keeping her because my husband had a meltdown, and He made it super dramatic in front of my children, and all of a sudden the kids were like, we love this dog. They never talked to the dog ever. Now all of a sudden she's their best friend. Whatever. So I'm dealing with it, guys. I'm dealing with it. I love her. She's a cute dog. I just don't like her.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's like you love family, but most of them I don't like.
Right. Not every animal is for every human. Sometimes you just need the right specific animal. So it's been, and she's the same dog that's been doing this the whole time during the show. My husband has to keep coming up here and getting her because she does this weird shit where like she doesn't know how to work her tail, so it gets away from her, and then she does like this weird twerk thing down the hallway and it hits the wall. I don't understand what's going on with her. I really don't get it. I used to think Kira was my worst dog ever, which is my husky, but huskies are a whole different breed of dog. Like you have to have a lot of patience for huskies, but I used to think Kira was my worst dog, and now I love her. She's my favorite dog ever because the other dog has shown me how much worse Kira could be, and then Vic just doesn't care. And then the cat,
chillest cat, NA.
I love that cat. He's just...
Oh yeah, crazy cat lady.
Yeah, he's just like the chillest cat ever. I love him. He's like...
I thought I had problems because I couldn't get Duchess to wave on command.
The only thing about the cat that annoys me is he wants attention when he wants it, but when I want it, he won't give it. But when I don't want it, like when I'm falling asleep and he sits on my face, and I'm like, so maybe you could not sleep on my face. I need to kind of breathe.
Well, now you know how Steven feels.
It's just weird. He only wants attention when he wants it. When I want it, he's not having anything to do with it. But if I'm on the computer or doing something that's taking attention away from him, he meows right in my face and gets very irritated that I'm not paying attention to him, which that was him making noise up here. My husband had to come get him because he was on the desk. I had to message my husband and told him he's trying to get attention. Anyway, we derailed because we're tired. It's the end of the show. We've been on this show for, I think we hit 2 hours. Not 100% sure.
I was wondering if we went over 2. We might have
guys, if it was longer than usual. I apologize, but I apologize for nothing. I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Sorry.
Hope you enjoyed the banter. I feel like we connected a little bit more, and I felt like we talked about a lot of good topics. I'm actually kind of glancing to make sure I didn't miss anything. You know, tomorrow, because it's our normal recording day, there's going to be 20 things of news that I will have missed because we
go live.
I know.
Go live, YouTube.
Soon, that's happening soon. Not on YouTube, but on Twitch. We will.
No, I just like set up a desk, like 2 news reporters.
You guys are going to have to clear your calendars for Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which...
Can you just say it on server time so I understand?
Well, it's like 12 Eastern. Most of you guys are probably asleep then, but you could stay up and watch if, you know.
No way, we're up.
Yeah.
I think.
That was my awkward smile. Guys, I appreciate you spending your hour and a half, 2 hours with us every week. Make sure you comment, tell us what you thought about the different things going on the show today. I will make sure that I respond to last week's comments. I started to and then squirreled, but I'll make sure that I do that this week. And Grum gave us a 5-star rating. He didn't remember Jimma's name, but that's okay. Jimma doesn't even remember Jimma's name half the time, and that's all right. But we appreciate if you're listening on iTunes. Give us a rating. Tell us what you think. Send us an email, comment, do all those fun things. Follow us on all the various places and things. We are going to go ahead and get on out of here because I have tons and tons and tons of cooking to do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I do not.
No.
When you send the dog, send a plate of food, too. Chicka wicka.
He made it weird. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Bye, guys.
Right?
Ladies on the menjay.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. You did make it super weird. We need to put another light in there for when you're here. I feel bad. Maybe another light bulb. Those have little light bulbs, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's just pretty standard.
Jim, I like that hat.
I like it too.
Yeah, I like it too, Dick.
Are you still bitter? Is that what's happening? We're bitter?
Yes,
bitter right
I
now?
like Jinx more than he does, okay?
I like it a little.